Welcome in to another edition of Noon Daily News Sports Chat. You heard the music. Now here we are. That's what that means. Shane Lucas alongside Mike Hockett, as usual. Joining on a rainy Wednesday afternoon here in the fall, October. Rain, good natural transition to Newton football from this past week. You want to start talking about that? Game got cut a little short from what I understand.
Yeah, it seemed like kind of all the area games throughout central Iowa were affected by the weather that night. It seemed like a big number of them either were in a delay, and Newton's actually was the only one that I know of that was actually called at a certain point during the game because of the weather. But yeah, with 3 minutes left in the first half, Newton was up 35-0. The refs, they had everyone clear the stadium. Teams were in the locker room. It sounded like it was just going to be like a half an hour break or so for the Lightning. But with the game the way it was, it seemed like after about 20 minutes, Coach Ergen Wright and Seidel's coach, they just had a mutual agreement to end the game as it was, which, I mean, it's a 35-0 win, obviously a dominating win, but it was kind of a bummer for a lot of those seniors to have to end the game like that, to where they obviously would have liked to have played a full game on their senior night. But it's another win for Newton. It's a win they needed, and it puts them right on the doorstep of their first playoff berth since 2007.
Mm-hmm. Gotta love live TV, by the way.
Yeah, a little bit of interruption.
We just saw, cutting the game short. That was, I guess, kind of a testament to Newton's performance. Defense, especially, kind of been their calling card for a lot of this year. I held them under, I believe it was under 50 yards.
Yeah, I think it was 49. Yeah. And so yeah, obviously with only being less than half of a game, the stats are kind of skewed. It kind of messes up their stats for like their season game averages and whatnot. But yeah, like you said, their defense has really been carrying them through this 3-game win streak. Dallas under Grimes, they held them to 1 touchdown, and that came in the fourth quarter. ADM, a huge defensive performance, really kind of shut those guys down after the first quarter, and then yeah, last Friday night getting a shutout. So they're really offense is still kind of improving a little bit each week, but the defense has been solid this whole second half of the season. Mm-hmm. And then the other Friday night game that we featured was Colfax Mingo, and it was another senior night for them, and last game of the season for them, and obviously kind of a miserable kind of a night for them, getting beat 58-20. I know it couldn't have been fun for them, especially that was another game where they had, I think it was a 75-minute delay because of the weather. So they were kind of hanging out in the locker room as well. But yeah, obviously not that kind of ending that Newton had, where at least despite the delay, Newton had obviously a positive outcome, whereas Colfax Mingo, it couldn't have been a whole lot of fun for them out there.
I guess, yeah, I picked a good weekend to be out of town and miss some of that rain there. But yeah, tough night for the Tiger Hawks. They were playing one of the better teams in the district, in Pella Christian, one of the better teams in the state early on in the season. Gave up the ball a lot.
9 turnovers, yeah.
A lot of kind of just the same problems they've been having all year. Said goodbye to, I believe it was 9 seniors. Jaden Van Dyke, one of them, he kind of carried the team in all aspects this year. Played both ways, played quarterback, ran a lot, played wide receiver, so he'll be gone. But just kind of looking forward to next year already. Jared Myers, the freshman, kind of played on and off, struggled with some injuries, but he seems to be kind of their go-to guy for the future. Good grasp of the offense from what I saw, especially from a freshman. And yeah, I mean, it will be a tough district probably for Colfax maybe these next few years. It was kind of a rude welcoming for them there, but you never know, especially with Myers coming back if he's going to be healthy. I know they return good amount of guys to that team, so you just kind of have to wait and see here.
And then the only varsity action for Newton last night was Newton volleyball, and they were down in Pella. They picked up a couple big wins, especially Pella is a rivalry game, so obviously a big win for them last night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing they did. Played Pella just in a regular match, and then Centerville after that, a best out of 3. Yeah. So they're just kind of trying to squeeze in as many as possible. But yeah, it was the Little Hawkeye Conference wrap up for them. Started off 0-4. They won their last 2 matches there. Mm-hmm. Just kind of a lot like the Oskaloosa match last week, just kind of back and forth all night. Newton looked dark for them a few times, and they kind of pulled it out of nowhere, ended up winning it. But I think the later in the season that they're winning those matches like that, kind of those gritty matches, I think the better it's going to pay off. And Pella is actually the first round opponent for regionals coming up on Monday.
I was going to say that win had to be kind of a confidence booster for them, especially beating them on the road and knowing that they get to play Pella again back in Newton for that regional game.
Yeah, Coach Forkey wouldn't exactly call it a confidence boost because I think she expected a little bit more out of them that night, but I guess maybe just knowing that they did play, they didn't play up to par, but still were able to pull out the win.
Sure.
They've seen Pella twice now this year. That was the second time they've seen him. So I guess confidence, familiarity was something they picked up from them last night. Yeah. So be able to see on Monday what the result is there.
And then playoff action already started in Class 1A, and Linville-Selly was in that last night. They had a pretty dominant sweep over Tri-County. Tri-County, I believe, is winless on the season, and they also beat Tri-County by about the same scores a week ago. So it was a match that they should have dominated, and they did, and that moves them into the regional quarterfinals, I believe, where they'll play BGM, which swept Linville-Selly a few weeks ago. So Linville-Selly definitely have their work cut out for them. They'll play on October, or no, I believe they play on Tuesday, the night after Newton. So they'll be playing in Brooklyn. It'll be a tough matchup for them, but anything can happen with those guys.
Mm-hmm. Also, PCM and CMB will be playing in Maxwell on Monday. I believe Colfax Mingo starts there tonight.
That is tonight. Their first game, I think they're playing at Madrid. So
yeah, volleyball coming to an end pretty close here, pretty quick here, kind of like golf. All of a sudden, it could be over for some of these teams. Some more postseason action next week, cross country, or not next week, this week, tomorrow. Newton and Colfax Mingo, Marshalltown, and a lot of the other area teams at Panorama.
Yeah, I think Newton, Colfax Mingo, it's just the girls for Colfax Mingo. They'll be in Marshalltown. PCM and CMB are at Lake Panorama, and then I think it's Linville-Selly. Trying to remember where they are. I don't know if they're at Lake Panorama as well, or if they're. I want to say they're somewhere else, but
they're all over the place this year.
Obviously, tomorrow it'll be the biggest meet of the season for cross country so far. It's the district/state qualifying meet, whatever you want to call it. And and at least for Newton, it looks like they'll have a number of kids that have a decent shot at getting to state. Obviously, Grace Cohen and Lexi Desplank, they probably have the two best shots on the girls' side. As far as qualifying, it's the top 3 teams and then the top 10 individual qualifiers, regardless of whether they're on one of those qualifying teams or not, which I know a lot of area coaches, they kind of don't like that format because a lot of those individual qualifiers are also going to be the kids that are on those qualifying teams. So there might end up only being 1, 2, or 3 kids that are just like pure individuals that go on to state. And I know coaches would like to see it be like the top 3 teams plus 10 individuals not on those teams to get a few more kids there. But
it's the same deal as golf.
Exactly, yeah. For Newton, Grace Cohen, Lexi Desplank, like I said, they'll have a good chance. And on the boys' side, Christian Lalvey and Cooper McDermott. Probably an outside shot, but if they have a better meet than that average, I think they have a pretty good chance at cracking that top 10.
Exactly, you never know. Haley Leonard last year for CMB, the lone state qualifier in the whole county. She was kind of up there in that kind of, maybe not range, and she pulled it out. So, you never know. While we're in the previewing mood here, you want to go ahead and look forward to Friday.
Sure.
Newton's next football game. Kind of a win in their in scenario, I guess, for the playoffs, kind of shore up their chances there.
Yeah, and hopefully the weather will be a little bit better Friday night. And Newton's at Ballard, which is 2-6 on the season, and they're out of playoff contention. But it'll be senior night for them, so obviously they're going to want to go out on a good note. They're going to be motivated to beat Newton. And for Newton, it gets a little bit complicated when looking at the playoff scenario, but if they win, they're guaranteed to be in, and then it's just all about what positioning they are as far as playoffs. But if they win, they're in, and if they lose, they can still get in depending on what happens with that Dallas Center Grimes game. But Newton, I don't see any reason why they shouldn't win this game. They're playing really well these last 3 weeks, and Ballard, they've lost 5 straight games. They just lost 3-0 to Dallas Center Grimes last week. So 2 teams in 2 different directions, and so it hopefully it'll be a good night for Newton.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other game we're featuring, you'll be covering is CMB. They're still right in the playoff race. They need to win, and they'll be hosting Davis County. What do you think about that matchup?
CMB, as far as I know, they're healthy for the first time in a long time. At the beginning of the year, they played a tough non-district schedule, a lot of injuries. They have everyone back. They've played, after that rough start, they've played right into having a chance at the playoffs. I believe they have to beat Davis County, and they need a little outside help as well. But Davis County coming in, they're 6-2. They barely got past PCM last week, 20-17. Calvin Udd is their quarterback dual threat kid, so probably nothing the CMB hasn't seen already. But like I said, if they're all healthy, that defense has had some problems, but they're it seems like they're picking up a little bit, and they haven't had problems scoring all season. Zach Sampson, Bryce Kemp, the sophomore, had a big week last week. They always kind of have guys rotating in and out of the run game, but I think it should be a good one. It'll be senior night for them as well, I believe, and desperation could be their best friend there trying to get into the playoffs. So we'll just have to wait and see there.
And then besides that, we'll have PCM. Obviously, have they locked up the playoff spot, or are they? I wasn't sure if they've locked it up. So
yeah, I think they're in the same category. It depends on where they're going to end up in the district based on that, but I believe they are locked in. And
then Linville Sully is the other team. They know they're in the playoffs. They're one in Class A district. I want to say it's 6, but either way, there's 4 teams in their district that are all 5-1 in the conference, and they all play each other this week. So they could end up winning the district title if they win this game. And they need, I believe it's Pekin to lose. That would give them the district title. Otherwise, it's just all kind of jockeying for position as far as who gets to host the first round playoff game. So obviously a lot riding on their game for them.
And this will be a big one for them. This will be their first, I don't want to put anyone down here, their first legitimate opponent in the past few weeks. They've played with some teams with not so great records. That defense has been coming up big. But, this will be a good test for them, especially going into the playoffs. Kind of proving themselves that they can beat those kind of better teams.
Right. That pretty much takes us through Friday, and then on Saturday, the NCMP Aqua Girls Swimming, they'll be in the conference meet at Boone, and I know in that conference meet it's always come down to them and Decorah for like the past 3 or 4 years. Decorah's beaten them just kind of by a small margin each time. So, but it's looking like this is the year that Newton's finally gonna kind of get over the hump there, and I know they're really looking forward to trying to win the conference title. I'm not sure when the last time the Aqua Girls did, but obviously that'd be a huge thing for Newton sports this year. Then other than that, we just got Iowa State footballs at Oklahoma State. Obviously Oklahoma State's going to be looking for revenge for that big upset last year. And then Iowa, the Hawkeyes, they're hosting Penn State, trying to stay atop is it the Leaders or the Legends division?
Got me.
Yeah, I still don't have that straight. But so it'll be a good Saturday full of sports, and that pretty much wraps up our slate then for the week.
Well, got a big week ahead of us next week as well. Fall sports kind of starting to wind down here, so everyone get out there, support your respective teams. As far as this week, stay warm, stay dry. Probably supposed to be raining here the next few days. Start getting cold, so hopefully we'll see you out there, and take it easy.